We got Marksville? Not Mark.
Wade.
Wade.
I think that's what Wade just did. I think he
Yeah,
just
we
started.
got 8 in the room.
Yeah, so I think you're good, Jeff, if you want to start us off.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Okay, no problem.
Be kind of strange feeling here. Not having it.
We'll try our best.
All right, I appreciate that. Okay, I'm trying to log in here. Let me go ahead and get started here. So welcome, everybody. Thanks for those that could be here in person and all those on virtually. I believe we're good to go. I guess one official time, let me get a response from the Planning Commission staff that we're recording and everything is important.
Yes, sir. We're recording and have an in-person quorum. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I can't see the virtual one, but our first topic, well, I guess we're going to do a roll call. That's typically what's done. Is that the protocol for today also?
I would believe so if Wade has a listing of who is supposed to be online, unless we just want to go around the room ourselves. Mr. Reynolds?
If you all would like to just go around the room for the in-person, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll just do this official and just circle around this way. This is Jeff Sims.
Mike Williams with Hillsborough County. Tony Garcia, Planning Commission.
Anna Quinones with DF.
Brian Sorrow, Florida.
Melanie Calloway, City of Tampa. Danny Jorgensen, City of Tampa.
Jen Collins, Planning Commission. And that's everybody that's in the room. So if there's anybody online,
Mark Hudson for the City of Plant City.
Justin Willits, Hart.
Leland Dykes, Hillsborough County.
Nicole Sutton, Department of Health, Hillsborough.
Gina Evans, Tampa International Airport.
Okay, is there any other TAC members that are on the committee that are online that did not? All right, hearing none, we will move on. The next item up is public comment. There is nobody in person that wishes to speak. Is there anyone online that would like to make a public comment? If so, request to have your mic unmuted, or you can go into the chat and pose a question.
We have not had any requests before the meeting, but we can give people a couple of seconds if they want to put it in the chat.
Okay. All right, hearing none, we will move on to the next item, which is approval of the October 4th meeting minutes. So does anybody from the committee have any comments or questions on the minutes? Okay, not hearing any, we will move forward with requesting approval. And as always, please state your name before making a motion to approve or second. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
Danny Jorgensen, move to approve.
Jay Collins, second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Say nay. All right, thank you very much. So first item up for action items is the DOT tentative work program.
Suzanne, will you be presenting or would you like me to pull up the presentation? I have it right here.
I can present it. I'm just trying to pull it up. Hold on.
1 sec, I will make you the presenter.
Wait, this is Vishaka Shivraman, MPO staff, and I'm here as well. So if you want to have the presentation ready.
I think I'm good. I'm just gonna
Sure.
Okay, sorry about that. Okay, can you guys see my screen?
We can.
All right, hi, my name is Suzanne Monk. I'm the government liaison for Hillsborough County with the Florida Department of Transportation and District 7. Today, I'm going to go over the tentative 5-year work program with you, which is fiscal year 23 through fiscal year 27. And projects that are discussed during this presentation will be funded July 1st of 22 to June 30th of 27. Okay. So FDOT's work program is a 5-year plan. Basically, it's a 5-year budget financial plan that includes the various projects that we have programmed. Could be any kind of project from public transit, seaport, airport, railroads, and then the different phases, which would be planning, ITS, highway design, right-of-way acquisition, and construction activities. So our current year right now is fiscal year 21 or 22, which is year 1 on this slide. Hold on, sorry. I keep hitting something and it doesn't want to, keeps pulling something else up. Okay. All the way to fiscal year 5 would be 26, and that would be what's adopted right now. Currently, we're in the work program update process. So every year on July 30th, the current year of the work program ends. And on July 1st, year 2 is up to be the new current year. So right now, what you're seeing on the screen is going to be what is part of the tentative work program, which is year 1 will be fiscal year 23, and then year 5 will be fiscal year 27. Any new projects that are added in the 5th year are based on the Florida Transportation Plan goals, statewide programs, and local priorities. So like I said, we're currently in the tentative stage. This presentation is going to outline the first 5 years of the work program and any new projects that are in the new 5th year. So if you see something, if you have a question about a project that's already been discussed last year, if nothing has changed on that project, it's not going to be brought up in the presentation this year. So the proposed work program is submitted to the legislator later this year and will be reviewed and then sent to the governor for review and signature. Which at that time, after the governor signs the work program, the first year is then included in the state budget and the work program is considered adopted. When we're looking at what we're going to program, we look at preserving the existing program first. So any kind of projects that we have where maybe we have the design funded but not the construction, we would look to fund those kind of things first. Or, you know, say we have everything up to right-of-way funded, we'd look to fund that construction next. So that's what we take a look at first when considering what projects we're going to program. And then we look at our cost estimate update, which is our work program update cycle. So we go through all the projects that are currently in the work program and do cost estimates to see if any of them are going to need additional money or anything like that. So then we would apply money to those projects next. And then last, we would look at any new projects that we could fund in the new current 5th year. And this just says, you know, projects that we typically will fund, which could be safety and security. We like to preserve our system. We put money towards multimodal enhancements, operational improvements, and any kind of capacity improvements. And again, these are based on the NPO priorities, regional priorities, and the CIS or FDOT priorities as well. So like I said before, these are just new projects that were not previously included in the work program. So anything that you don't hear me talk about, it just means nothing has changed. So basically, you're going to see some projects, there might be some new PD&E or some new design projects, right-of-way, construction, design build, or capital grants. So first we have the NPO transportation planning. That's the #1 priority of Hillsborough County TPO. We're adding planning funds in fiscal year 27. Next is another Hillsborough priority, George Road from Dana Shores to Town and Country Greenway. This project previously was funded with design for fiscal year 25, but at the request of the NPO, we have swapped out that funding to do a corridor study in 25. And next up is Fowler Avenue from 56 to I-75. Another priority as well, we went ahead and added a corridor study in fiscal year 23 to look at the bicycle and pedestrian improvements along that corridor. Next, we have Bush Boulevard from North Almabry Highway to North Nebraska Avenue. We were able to advance right-of-way from fiscal year 25 to 23 and add construction in 27. Ooh, sorry, I just jumped and I don't know how to get back. Hold on. Okay, sorry. The next project is US 92 from west of McIntosh Road to east of McIntosh Road. We added design in fiscal year 23. Also, a Damo Drive from 26th Street, we added right-of-way in fiscal year 24, and then construction will be happening in fiscal year 26. And then another priority was, I know everyone, I think this is part of the DTI, is Rio Street from Gray Street to Cypress Street. Due to the ARPA funding, which is the stimulus money, we were able to move construction into fiscal year 23 for this project. These projects are going to be resurfacing projects. These projects are going to be funded for design in fiscal year 23, and then the construction will be in 25. Typically, we only program our resurfacing projects in the third year of the work program, so that's why you're seeing a little jump in everything. So the first project is Mlk Boulevard from Wheeler Court to Forbes Road. Second one is US 301 from Manatee County Line to Sun City Center. And the last one on this slide is US 301 from Baum to Witt Road. Again, more resurfacing projects. The first three are again going to be fiscal year 23 for design and then construction in 25. We have Fowler Avenue from Bruce B. Downs Boulevard to River Hills Road or Drive. Causeway Boulevard from US 301 to 50th Street. Kennedy Boulevard from west to South River Boulevard to Church Ave. And then the last one on the slide, Adamo Drive from west of North 34th Street to east of North 34th Street. This one we added design in fiscal year 25, and then the construction will be in 27. The next grouping of slides that you see on your screen are actually, they're resurfacing projects, but we were actually able to group in intersection improvements with these projects as well. So the design will be in fiscal year 23 and the construction will be in 25. So we'll be resurfacing and providing intersection improvements at these locations. So State Road 60 from Buckingham Place to Lithia Pinecrest Road, North Park Road from Baker Street to I-4, and Dalmabry Highway from Gandy Boulevard to Sevilla Street. We also were able to program some rail projects. We have State Road 60 at rail crossing 624572-B, which is east of Clarence Gordon Jr. Road. We were actually able to add rail safety construction in fiscal year 23. And then we were actually able to advance rail safety construction from 25 to fiscal year 23 for Kennedy Boulevard at Willow Avenue Railroad crossings. For multimodal projects, TIA will be receiving in 23 construction to replace the airside shuttle cars and systems. And then Hart bus replacements, which is a Hillsborough TPO priority. I believe it's number 3. We added capital grants in fiscal year 27. Overall, over the next 5 years, will be $1.1 billion spent just in Hillsborough County. And here's just the breakdown of different areas that the money is allotted. And then, well, we've passed the online public hearing, but we do have, and we had our open house on the 27th. But if you do go to the website, we are accepting public comments by November 20th or 12th. And if you would like to, go ahead and submit some comments if you need to, if you want to. And then we will take it to the legislator and the FTC in the winter/spring. And then it'll be adopted July 1st. I want to thank you guys for letting me come and speak. And again, this is our website for public comments. If you would like to leave us some comments, we would appreciate it. If you guys have any questions, happy to try to answer any of them.
Okay,
And Mr.
great.
Simmons, I know Vishaka Shivaraman is on the line and can go through some of the existing comments from other committees. Thank you.
Thank you, Wade. Thank you, committee members. So I just wanted to let you know that I would like to thank Suzanne Mlk for presenting the projects for the TIP upcoming TIP 23 through 27. So what we are doing today is I would like to request to you that in addition to the letter of comments, we did put together, in addition to the presentation what Suzanne put, we did put together a letter of comments. And that would come based on some of the earlier presentations we did to the BPAC and the TD board and the LRC committees through October. And we would like to hear some of the comments if you have today, collect them all, and that would be transmitted to the Department of Transportation from our TPO as requesting them to add any further projects. I would just like to highlight some of the projects which were in the comments earlier. It is in your packet, but I would just like to quickly add that some of the urban corridor improvements at Brandon Boulevard, Park Road, and South Road, South Dale Mabry, they were requested by the BPAC and the and the TD board to know what considerations the department is taking for these projects prioritization. There was another comment about the safety projects on Bush Boulevard and Cattlewood, from Cattlewood to Forest Lake Roads. That was in the TIP. So that is appreciated that it's been funded for construction. The other projects that we are really excited about, of course, the main preference was for the governor's announcement earlier this year for the TIP amendments for the West Shore interchange, rebuild, reconstruction, first phase, preliminary phase, and also the downtown interchange reconstruction. So these are the projects which have been approved through a TIP amendment last month, and they will be funded for construction in 22. If you all have any comments or any projects that you would like to address, I would like to take it up as notes, and we will add this to the letter and pass it on to the department. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Vishaka and Suzanne for that. So I guess at this point, I'll open it up to the committee for any comments or questions.
Committee members, sorry, I have another question. I would like to say that CLC Fine will be presenting the turnpikes. I don't know if she would like to go over the turnpikes tentative work program. That's also added as your packet. So if there are any questions, just Ms. CLC Fine to present that tentative work program.
Good afternoon, committee members. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
This is Siasi Fine with the Turnpike. I'll be presenting one project from our tentative work program that we have in the Hillsborough area, but you know that we have to get it out there and let you know about it. So, is there any way I can get the map that's shown inside of the work program summary on the screen?
Yes, 1 second.
Wait, you have that, right?
Actually, I apologize. The presentation I have does not seem to have a map in it. Was there a particular slide or?
Wait, is that part of the agenda packet?
Yes, ma'am.
It's the Florida Turnpike projects overview.
Yes, ma'am.
If you want, I can pull it up.
Just 1 second, I have it right here.
All right, sorry, thanks.
Are you able to see that?
Yes, we can see it.
All right, I think we can move forward with the presentation. Are you muted by chance? We're all seeing the map right now.
Vishaka, Wade, did we lose?
Vishaka, were you going to present on this, Vishaka?
Oh, no, wait, I thought CLC Fine was going to present something. That's what I got as a comment here in the chat. So that's why I requested you to pull up the slide. Is there anything they need to highlight on this project, on any of the projects that they need to highlight? I see CLC Fine here. Would you like to? I think you're on mute.
It says that you were unmuted on GoToWebinar, so I'm not sure.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so let me see if I can set this up okay. Set up right. Okay. Good afternoon, committee members. My name is Siasi Fine, and I am the MPO's liaison for the Florida's Turnpike Enterprise. Thank you for the opportunity to present the Turnpike's tentative work program for fiscal years 2023 through fiscal year 2027. In Hillsborough County, the Turnpike is proposing to fund $7.35 million in major projects. In conjunction with my presentation is a document called the Work Program Summary, which is a green document. Of course, it's the included in that document is the map that's being shown on the screen. So this document highlights the Turnpike's major projects, minor projects, current construction projects, and upcoming PD&Es and design efforts in Fdot District 7 area, in the Fdot District 7 area. So just kind of going over this packet a little, you'll see on page 1, these projects on the top, these are current construction projects, meaning that they have construction, they're currently in construction or they will be going into construction. And so they're outside the 5-year work program because they have construction funding in fiscal year 2021 and 2022, which means that they're currently happening now. And then on page 6, the last page, you'll see that there is a table for future PD&E and design projects. So what's special about these projects is that they have no construction funding associated with them, but they're kind of just in the packet to kind of show you that they're upcoming, and when they have that associated construction funding within the 5-year work program, they will be added to the main tables of the summary. So with that being said, if you'll go to page 2 of the document, In Hillsborough County, the Turnpike has one major project programmed in the tentative work program, and it is project 445885-1 and -2. This project is a resurfacing of the Veterans Expressway spur from milepost 0 to milepost 3. This project has construction funds in fiscal year 2023 totaling that $7.35 million, said before. And work for this project includes milling and resurfacing, guardrail installation, lighting improvements, and signing and pavement marking improvements. So for more information on all projects in the Turnpike's tentative work program, you can visit the new Fdot work program public hearing website, the same website that Suzanne showed on her presentation, which again is www.fdot.gov/WPPH. Again, that's www.fdot.gov/WPPH. And you can download the Fdot District 7 public hearing report when it becomes available. And Turnpike projects in Hillsborough County can be found in this document. So again, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to share this project. And if there are any questions, I will be happy to take them now.
Okay, does that conclude your presentation? Okay, sorry. To now seek any comments or questions from the committee. Okay, I have one question and probably more than a comment. As you were, Suzanne, as you were scrolling through a lot of the projects, you mentioned one early about Fowler Avenue having a study done. I think it was for bicycle pedestrian potential additions from 56 to 75. And then later on in the project, you talked about, well, actually, when that came up, the first thing I thought about is that road needs to be resurfaced because I pass through it from time to time. And then lo and behold, a resurface project came up a little later that included most of that section. So I guess my question is there the opportunity to coordinate those two to possibly get done at a similar time if the study shows that it could be done at the same time as resurfacing?
I'm not really sure. That's something I would have to check on with everything that's going on. I know they're taking a look at all of Fowler and trying to make some changes. So I would need to check with the project manager.
Okay, I mean, it's certainly an area that with all the university traffic around there, could use the improvement. So I totally endorse the projects being on there. Just wondering if they were being coordinated. Several of the projects definitely.
Well, they're looking at the whole corridor for Fowler, the access changes on Fowler, and they're doing it piece by piece. So that specific piece from 56 to 75 was a Temple, I think it's Temple Terrace that was wanting us to take a look to see for pedestrian and bicycle improvements on that piece. So there's just so many projects on Fowler right now. I would definitely have to check, but I will definitely check for you.
Okay, that's fine. I was just asking. All right, is there any other comments or questions, or anybody have a comment on the letter that Vishaka was referencing? Okay, once, twice. All right, hearing none, I guess we can move forward. So Vishaka, it looks like you're requesting a motion to approve the letter and forward.
Yes, you can. I have taken your comments, and then we will include that in the letter as well, and transmit it to the FDOT for approval. So that's it will be after the board meeting this month. So I will all of these feedback will come into that letter, and it'll be transmitted after the FDOT. After the board meeting. So I would take your it's an action item, and I would request you to approve the letter of comments at this time. Thank you.
Okay, so with that, could we get a motion to approve transmittal of the letter on the tentative work program to include any comments from this committee and I guess potentially any ones for future? So can we get that motion?
So this is Jake Collins, then I'll make a motion to approve the Florida Department of Transportation's tentative work program fiscal year 2023 to 2027, as well as the letter of comments from the subcommittees.
Thank you, Jake. Can I get a second? Who's that? Tony, thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I see none on mine, so I think we're good. So thank you very much on that. And I guess with that, we will move on.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bajaka. Thanks all that presented. The next item is, I believe, been tabled, which was the state of the system report. So I'm going to move on. Just correct me if I'm mistaken on that. And that will move us to the next portion of the agenda on status reports, which would be the I-75 project development and environmental studies.
Good afternoon. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Ashley Hensel. I'm the DOT project manager for these I-75 PD&E studies. I also have with me in the room today Kirk Bogan. He's the district environmental management engineer at District 7. And on the call as panelists, I have Jeff Novotny and Steve Gordillo. They are the project managers on these two PD&E studies that we're going to talk about today. All right. So the segments of I-75 we're discussing this afternoon is there's two separate studies. One is from Moccasin Wallow Road, which is in Manatee County to south of US 301. And then the second study picks up from south of US 301 to north of Bruceby Downs. You can go to the next slide, please. So shown in purple is the Southern study, which is WPI segment number 419235-2. Like I said, this is from Moccasin Wallow Road in Manatee County to south of US 301 in Hillsborough. Shown in green is WPI segment number 419235-3. That's from south of US 301 to north of Bruceby Downs in Hillsborough County. We're preparing two separate environmental documents, and both of them are type 2 categorical exclusions. Next slide, please. So the purpose for these studies is to provide additional capacity and improve safety to better meet future transportation demand in these rapidly developing areas of Manatee and Hillsborough counties. The improvements are expected to enhance I-75's overall regional functionality and improve the interstate's operating conditions within the project limits. So first we're going to start with the Southern study. Next slide, please. This is WPI segment number 419235-2. This is the southernmost study of the I-75 corridor, beginning at Moccasin Wallow and ending just south of US 301, which is a distance of approximately 24 miles. This project will widen I-75 to provide 2 express lanes in each direction in the median of I-75. Mainline roadway improvements will take place entirely within the existing I-75 right-of-way. However, right-of-way will be required for some stormwater management facilities and floodplain compensation sites. Next slide. Currently, I-75 is a 6-lane facility from Moccasin Wallow Road to Gibsonton Drive. The corridor in this section typically contains 3 general use lanes with 10 to 12-foot shoulders on both the inside and outside in each direction. An 88-foot grassed median separates the 2 directions of travel. From Gibsonton Drive to south of US 301, the roadway is a 6-lane facility with 3 general use lanes, but includes 1 12-foot auxiliary lane in each direction. Next slide, please. Preferred build typical section for this project includes adding 2 buffer separated express lanes in each direction
with 12-foot outside shoulders and 12 to 15-foot inside shoulders. Next slide, please. There are 3 interchanges within the study limits. Improvements at the Big Bend Road interchange are being addressed under a separate design build project in coordination with Hillsborough County. Improvements at Gibsonton Drive interchange are also being completed under a separate FDOT design project. And at State Road 674, operational improvements will be provided to accommodate the interstate widening. Next slide, please. Now we'll move on to the north segment. Next slide. The northern segment is WPI segment number 419235-3. This is the northernmost segment of I-75 from just south of US 301, ending north of Bruceby Downs, a distance of approximately 18 miles. Like the southern segment, this project will widen I-75 to the median and provide 2 12-foot express lanes in each direction. These improvements will take place predominantly within the existing right-of-way. However, right-of-way will be required for some stormwater management facilities, floodplain compensation sites, and near interchanges for ramp improvements. Next slide. Currently, I-75 from south of 301 to State Road 60 contains 3 general use lanes in each direction with 10-foot inside and outside shoulders and an 88-foot grass median. This section also contains a CD system with 2 12-foot travel lanes in each direction with 6-foot inside and 8-foot outside shoulders. From State Road 60 to north of Bruceby Downs, this typical section contains 3 general use lanes in each direction with 10-foot inside and outside shoulders and an 88-foot grass median. Next slide, please. The preferred build typical section is consistent with the southern segment, adding 2 12-foot buffer separated express lanes in each direction with 12-foot outside shoulders and 12 to 15-foot inside shoulders. The interchange, next slide, please. The interchange at Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard is under a separate project as well. All other interchanges within this study limits are being analyzed for improvements and ramp modifications. Next slide, please. We're currently evaluating the environmental effects associated with these improvements. The environmental analysis look at several factors such as historic resources, wetlands, endangered species and their habitats, land use, community impacts, and noise impacts, among others. Next slide. In summary, this project will add 2 express lanes in each direction along I-75 from Moccasin Wallow Road in Manatee County to north of Bruceby Downs in Hillsborough County. The project will also include noise barriers where feasible and reasonable, make improvements to interchanges within the project limits, and acquire right-of-way for some mainline and ramp improvements, floodplain compensation sites, and pond sites. Next slide, please. These are our preliminary costs associated with these projects. These projects are shown in the Hillsborough County LRTP cost feasible plan. Next slide. We're currently working towards a public hearing. On this slide, we do show December 16th as our tentative public hearing date. However, that will be pushed out until the end of January due to some scheduling conflicts. We anticipate approval by the spring of 2022. Next slide, please. As I mentioned, we are pushing this hearing out to the end of January. However, we anticipate utilizing the same location, which is the Hilton Garden Inn within the study limits. There will also be a virtual component for this hearing, and attendees can register online ahead of time for the go-to webinar. Next slide, please. We will have project documents available on the website as well as in local libraries and at the DOT. And this is my contact information if you have any questions on the project. Next slide, please. And I can take any of those questions now. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thanks, Ashley, for the presentation. Is there any comments from the committee?
Thank you. Actually, that was a great presentation. One quick question for you. Does the district model in anything on cost estimates for upkeep and maintenance when it puts express lanes in on interchanges and others with the facility, bridge replacement, anything else for a new facility that's an express facility?
Like long-term, are you asking about long-term maintenance?
Yeah, that idea of if we do it, it costs X amount of dollars. If we don't do it, it costs X amount of dollars. That kind of thing.
Do you know that answer, Kirk?
No, we, in this study, we do not, just Kirk Bogan, we don't consider those costs as presented costs. Only on bridge projects do we look at that maintenance cost.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry, could the last speaker identify themselves?
Sure, Jay Collins with the Planning Commission.
I'm sorry, I meant the speaker that responded to you.
Kirk Bogan with DOT.
All right, thank you.
Okay, do we have other questions?
I do have a question, and I guess it's in reference to the other one, that last one that was asked. These are going to be express lanes tolled, correct?
Have we determined that yet? That has not been determined yet, if they would be told.
Because I was going to say, if they were, then the operations and maintenance is built into the finance piece and has to be maintained into the future. So that's one of the benefits of that type of a system, is that the OM&A is built in. But I was just trying to. Thank you. That was all I was going to say.
Yeah.
That was Bob Fry with the question, by the way. Okay, do we have any other questions? I'm a little curious, it's probably too easy to tell, but you talked about the addition of noise walls. Since all of this construction is going to be on the interior, do you have an idea of where you would expect to be potentially adding any?
We have completed our noise analysis. We're reviewing our reports now, and those noise barriers, potential noise barriers, would be shown on our roll plots at the public hearing.
Okay. Okay. Okay, any other questions? Then we will move on. Thank you very much for the presentation.
Thank you.
And Ms. Musselman, shall I make you the presenter?
That would be great.
And Mr. Chair, I should add that our final item, status report C, the City of Tampa Neighborhood Commercial District plans will need to be deferred.
Okay. So that makes this the last item of the day.
Yes, sir.
All right, so whenever you're ready, Jennifer, the 56th and 50th Street corridor planning study.
And Wade, can you confirm that you can see that? Great, and I'm actually going to let Brian Schroyer, the Fdot project manager, do a quick introduction.
Yeah, this is Brian Schroyer with FDOT Planning. As you see here, Jennifer is going to run through our 50th Street corridor study that we're looking at. This is something that's been going on for a little bit, but we're at a point now where we can share some information and talk about some of the improvements that may be coming out of this and what the future holds for our schedule. So I'll just let her run through it, and I'll just want to make myself available for questions at the end too. So I appreciate Jennifer, and go ahead.
Thanks, Brian. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jennifer Musselman with Kittleson. I'm the consultant project manager for this project, and sounds like we'll be able to get you guys out of here a little bit early. So we'll run through this. So we'll go through an overview of the project, the work done to date, some of the opportunities that we've synthesized so far from our existing conditions analysis, review our draft purpose and need, which we'd like to share with the public in December, and then talk through next steps and answer any questions that you all have. So this project was identified primarily for safety reasons. Many of you all likely know 2 different segments, one on 50th Street and one on 56th Street, were in the TPO's Vision Zero action plan. So they had unusually high number of fatal and severe injury crashes when compared to other roads within Hillsborough County. So this study is really looking at identifying safety solutions for all modes, people walking, biking, taking the bus, driving freight out here, and developing a vision to connect the different communities and land use types that we have along 50th and 56th Streets. So we're looking at a little over 8 miles, starting at the Solomon Expressway, ramps to the south, going through the I-4 interchange, then jogging over to 56th Street and going up to Fletcher Avenue. One quick note, the segment between Fowler and Fletcher is county maintained. That is not technically a state road, but kind of getting to that last slide, wanted to create a consistent vision for the entirety of the street. It does change between 4 and 6 lanes. So we have 6 lanes in the southernmost portion and then transitions to 4 as you go north. There are sidewalks pretty continuously throughout, as well as on-street bike lanes with a few exceptions where we have sharrows in the Temple Terrace area. Posted speed varies quite a bit, as we'll get into in a future slide, ranging from 35 to 50. And it's a very high transit activity corridor with a high frequency route on 56th Street and then the Net Park Transfer Center just adjacent to it. So we're about 1/3 of the way through the study now. We've gone through the existing conditions analysis to figure out what the problem or problems are out here, and now we're working through the purpose and need. So I want to share this information with you all today before taking it to the public in December. Once we vet that we've understood the issues fully and have the right purpose going forward, we'll start to identify alternatives, then evaluate them, and ultimately put together the corridor development plan, which will outline short-term, medium, and long-term solutions. We have a lot of great partners. Many of you are in the meeting today, so thank you for your participation. So we've assembled a project advisory group of all of the agencies represented along the corridor. TPO and Planning Commission, HART, the Expressway Authority, Florida Highway Patrol to get their perspective, and then University of South Florida, which is adjacent to the corridor, and Hillsborough County Public Schools, of which there are a couple. We've also tried to engage other major stakeholders throughout the area, so major landowners, businesses, property owners, neighborhoods associations, through some stakeholder interviews that we did early on, and we'll continue to engage this group as we advertise for things like public meetings to try to get really broad input throughout the study. So getting to a summary of our existing conditions analysis, some of the key themes that we've pulled out. The first one should not be surprising based on a little bit of introduction that there are some multimodal safety needs throughout the corridor. So we're seeing a high number of bicycle and pedestrian crashes, high number of fatal crashes, a lot of different contributing factors that we're seeing, some long distances between crossings, some locations that don't have updated lighting, where lighting may be a concern in nighttime crashes. We're also seeing really high multimodal activity all throughout the corridor. So even in those very industrial areas to the south, there's still a lot of people who are walking and riding their bikes on 50th Street. And then, as I mentioned, some lighting concerns where the lighting has not been upgraded yet to LED. We're seeing a lot of transit service. In a field review, you could see a lot of transit activity, a lot of people walking, riding their bikes, running to try to catch the bus. HART Route 6 travels along the majority of the corridor and is one of the highest ridership routes in HART's network. You can see on this map some of the high ridership areas. So you have the Net Park Transfer Center here where multiple routes all converge. And then you're seeing at some of the major cross streets a lot of activity as well. So Bush Boulevard, Fowler Avenue. So seeing a lot of activity up and down 56th Street, but then also connecting to the adjacent east-west corridors as well. From a vehicle perspective, things are generally operating pretty well. Most of our segments are operating at level of service D or better, which would be Fdot's target for this street. Of the segments that are operating poorly, the majority are constrained by an intersection. So we're not really having a segment operations problem, but we are having some congestion at some of the intersections. Even still, you're seeing about 3/4 of all of the intersections operating at level of service D or better. So we do have a couple of tricky spots throughout the corridor and some congestion associated with school drop-offs, bus pickup and drop-off, things like that. But we're not seeing a major operational issue throughout the corridor. There is quite a bit of redevelopment, primarily focused in Temple Terrace. You can see a lot of it happening today if you drive out there. This is the Temple Terrace vision map, and you can see 56th Street running here, and is really the heart of their CRA and future vision for downtown. So the character around 56th Street is changing quite a bit, and we want to make sure that we're proposing a transportation solution that reflects that. With the industrial uses to the south, those are some of the last remaining industrial uses in the city of Tampa. And we don't really expect much of that to change, or even be a desire to preserve those, as there is not a lot of industrial land within the city. So speed is a big concern out here. I mentioned earlier the posted speed varies quite a bit. So you have 35 miles per hour in that Temple Terrace downtown area, and then getting all the way up to 50 miles per hour, some of the southern sections and up to the north. Regardless of the posted speed, we're seeing 85th percentile speeds in the 50 mile per hour range, which is maybe in line with the higher posted speed areas, but in the lower posted speed areas, that results in some pretty significant speeding and speed differentials. Another interesting fact is that operations don't tend to correlate with speed. So in our high posted speed areas, we're seeing similar levels of congestion as our low posted speed areas. So just because cars are able to travel faster doesn't mean that they necessarily are during the peak periods. But when you get to these off-peak times, it results in a lot of speeding out here. There's a very diverse population along this corridor. So 2/3 of the population are non-white. So we have a strong Black community, Hispanic community. There's also a lot of youth. Youth that live in the study area and that are traveling in and out with the number of schools. So we have King High School and elementary school, USF. There's also a technical college. So there's a lot of school-aged people and young adults that are traveling in and out and along the corridor. And the majority of folks that live along 50th and 56th Street are below the county median income level at that $53,000 mark. And there are several places along the corridor where folks are in the extreme poverty threshold, making less than $17,000 a year. So with kind of all of those key themes in mind, we've derived a draft purpose statement and needs statement that we would appreciate any input on, again, before sharing publicly in about a month here. So our purpose statement: eliminate fatal and severe injury crashes and prioritize accessibility of multimodal options through design and operational strategies that support existing and future places. So a lot loaded into these couple of lines, but first and foremost, wanting to address the safety challenges that are out here and eliminate fatal and severe injury crashes. We want to do this in a way that prioritizes access to multimodal options, given the low income populations that are out here. A lot of people are relying on non-auto modes to get around. We want to make sure they have good access to those transportation choices. We want to do this through a combination of design strategies, so physical changes to the roadway, as well as operational strategies, things that we can do to the signals, for example, and combine all the things that we have in our toolkit to make the changes to support the land uses that are there now, and those that we expect to be coming, particularly in the Temple Terrace area. And getting a little bit more detail into our set of needs. we've established, so increase the frequency and safety of crossing opportunities for bicyclists and pedestrians. We're seeing distance between signals over a mile in some cases, and a lot of crashes that are happening in between those signalized crossings. Design and operate the street consistent with surrounding land uses to support existing and future place types, leveraging the context-based design standards that Fdot has. Improve transit access and service efficiency, so being a good partner with HART and trying to help them implement their service as best as possible. Balance freight and vehicle mobility with the needs of vulnerable users at conflict points. So there are a lot of industrial uses. Freight is a key component of this corridor, and how can we make those interactions safe and comfortable for everybody? Support safe local resident and business access needs for the businesses that are located along the corridor. Provide better multimodal access for communities of concern. So those folks who are in a more transportation disadvantaged group, and then improve bicycle and pedestrian safety and comfort along the corridor and more generally. So that's all we had to present today. Again, welcome any input and questions. We are planning for a public meeting on December 2nd. Like was noted in the last meeting, the meeting will be in person in Temple Terrace, but there will also be an option to attend virtually via GoToWebinar. So if you all want to register now, you can follow the link, or there's the QR code, and we can come back to the slide if needed. After public meeting, again, we'll begin working with that project advisory group to identify alternatives and evaluate them, share those back again with the public, and then put together that corridor implementation plan to identify next steps. So with that, that's all we had to present to you all today, but happy to take any comments or questions.
Okay, great. Thank you, Jennifer, for that. I'm going to open it up for questions. Let me say, this is an area I'm very familiar with. I went to one of the schools you identified that is right on 56th Street, so I've witnessed this for 50 years of my life. And this area, I am not surprised that you discovered, if you didn't know already, the amount of variation between portions of it, especially the industrial stuff. I never really realized how much industrial was in part of this section, right near Hillsborough Avenue, for example, and then it bumps right up against King High School. And from the environmental side, we deal with a lot of issues because it's next to schools and next to residential. And I know with the traffic, back in my day, it seemed like the majority of King High School students wanted to go to McDonald's across 56th Street after school, and a lot of them lived on that side of 56. So there's a lot of commuting. I don't know if that's the same anymore. And then you mentioned Tampa Bay Tech is only, what, a mile tops down the road from King. So there's another whole volume of students that are probably, utilizing that, at least in a surge capacity at beginning and end of school days. So certainly not surprised that you found a lot of different potential issues there. I certainly would encourage you to look at the bicycle pedestrian options, because I haven't looked at them myself, but I'm in that industrial area. I'm guessing they're not the best. I don't know how many people commute through there, but I know that's going to be part of your study. So anyway, my 2 cents. Let me open it up to the committee for any comments or questions they might have. None? Have you all ever driven on 50th Street?
It's as you described.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's certainly, I think the most exciting thing is that you're looking at it with this set of eyes and trying to break it down and trying to find those improvements. And I mean, I've long complained about Hillsborough Avenue, and so certainly this intersection is right, in that area of Hillsborough and 56, where you're coming down that hill and carrying a lot of speed. I'd imagine there's issues there. It's just, and a lot of truck traffic. So just a lot of things going on. A lot of people are anxious to get to the casino. So, there's just all kind of activity around there. So again, I appreciate your feedback though, and I'm glad to see, what you've uncovered so far, and looking forward to future updates on how this goes.
Thank you. Appreciate the comments.
I just have a comment. This is Bob Fry from the Expressway Authority. I just want to say I really appreciate how you're looking at the uses that are involved, and down in the southern end we have more industrial uses. And we're still in our meetings trying to figure out how to accomplish Vision Zero, how to make it safer, how to make it more usable for those who with different modes, but at the same time taking into consideration the nature of the area. I just want to say I appreciated your view on that and how you actually working with us on that. It really helps a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Okay, I think with that, hearing no other comments, we will move towards the next item, which is any new or old business that anybody would like to bring up. All right, hearing none. So the next meeting, this is the one time a year to make this announcement. It's scheduled for December 15th, which is a Wednesday. This is our one time a year where we join with the Citizen Action Committee and have a joint, it's a semi-joint meeting. We actually run both meetings at the same time. So, and I'll let staff confirm, but if it's been like years past, we'll start at 12 and have an informal lunch. Yes, Tony?
Is that when you also do elections?
I believe elections might be January.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think we've done it with that same meeting.
Okay. Well, that's my last meeting.
Oh. Does everybody know that?
Everybody does now.
All right, well, yes.
Right after that meeting, the city of Tampa is participating in an APBP webinar on the city as a campus. So if anyone wants to join in after, that would be a fun thing to do.
Okay.
Alana, I'm pretty sure, is going to be presenting on a lot of our Vision Zero efforts. The national audience. Pretty cool.
Good, great.
Danny, what does that stand for? APB, what?
Association Pedestrian Bike.
Okay, just to know what it was. Yeah.
Sorry, I know.
Just bike ped. That's good. I didn't know what you were even. Yeah.
So we're co-presenting with the city of St. Pete and city of Clearwater.
You know what time that's going to be?
Yeah, right. Start at 3 o'clock on the 15th.
Okay, 3 o'clock. All right.
Yeah.
No, that's great.
Share.
Yeah, and what I would do is, I'm assuming Gina's on vacation, but I'm assuming she's still our liaison for the committee. So I would.
Yes.
Okay. So email her and she can probably put it like on the back of the agenda, like with all the details. And then I would ask if she could send that out like a week before to remind everybody, because certainly be great for everybody to attend. But I'm sure some of the citizen committee would like it.
Association of Pedestrian and Bicycle Professionals.
Okay. All right, great. But yeah, so that's so we'll be meeting with the citizen group at the same time on December 15th. So with that, that's my last comment. Anybody else? With that, we will adjourn. Thank you.